All right, you're welcome back. You're still on to Editors Forum on Galaxy Television. We'll kickstart today's edition now with the topic of the appointment of the new service chiefs, and we're looking at the way forward, the task ahead for this new service chiefs. And joining us on the program is none other than the person I call the people's man, Victor Aya. Thank you very much, Victor Aya, for joining us on the show. He's the editor, Prime Health News Magazine. Thank you for joining us.
Many thanks for inviting me once again.
All right, let's start today's topic now. We're looking at this appointment of the service chiefs, and so far so good. We've added new service chiefs to the people's the mandate, and of course there's been a rancor on whether it was that they were sacked or whether that they were appointed. But when you heard the news of this appointment of the service chiefs, I know people would say it was rather too late, but would you say that at least something has been done to checkmate the security apparatus in the country? We recall that in January, within the president's New Year speech, the president said that he is tending towards restructuring the security apparatus.
Yes, as we all know that we have been calling on the president to appoint new service chiefs because their tenure have overdue over the years, because the president has extended their tenure about 3 times. This is the first time that service chief will enjoy such opportunity. It has never happened in the history of this country. So appointing new service chiefs is a good thing. But that will not actually solve the problem of insecurity.
All right.
The reason being that since the coming on board of this president, the chief of army staff has always come from that axis of the country, and it's not the best, because even though we may not totally accept what certain Nigerians are saying, that there's a bit of complacency, you know, between the service chiefs and the Boko Haram fighters, in the sense that here are people killing innocent Nigerians. Few of them that have been arrested before have been given pardon. Some of them were even given a scholarship to study abroad. The question we are asking ourselves is that what happened to the law-abiding citizens of this country? How many of them have enjoyed scholarship to study outside of the shores of this country?
Yeah. Nobody
have been able to answer such a question. So we would have expected a situation where we have a new chief of staff coming from the southern part of the country. We should not forget the fact that when
south, you mean southeast, south?
Yes, because it's the coming on board of this president. The chief of army staff has always come from that side. Burata is from Borno State, and we all know what happened within this period of 5 years that he has been there. And we have not seen serious commitment. Why I'm saying this is this: when Obasanjo was was president of this country, there was a clash between the army and militants in Odi. We should not forget the fact that Odi was leveled, was bombed down by the army. When Yaradua came on board as president, there was a crisis between the militants and army also in Delta State, in a community called Baramutu. That community was burnt down. Why has such measure not taken place in the north? Why has Sambisa Forest, that is harboring these criminals, why has it not been burnt down like the communities I have just mentioned, Odi and the Baramatu community? These were communities that were inhabited by the people of that environment. They were set ablaze under the guise of fighting criminality. Why has Sambisa Forest not been set ablaze? Why have the Air Force not used chemicals, spray chemical of that place and decimate the criminals in that environment? Right. So what I'm saying is that there is, with the situation of certain Nigerians, that it's like there's a complacency between the security agency and the Boko Haram agents, Boko Haram insurgents. We cannot totally dispute that, because the way they are fighting the crime over there, and when it comes to the south, it's not the same way. We should not also forget the fact that since I was born, let me personalize it, I've always seen illegal refineries being set ablaze in the southern part of the country, but I've never seen any illegal mining site set ablaze. Does that mean that we don't have illegal mining sites in the northern part of this country? Why have they not been set ablaze?
Let me get your point clearly. Like, are you saying that because the leadership now is from the north is why we're having less insurgency in the north? Is that what you're saying now?
No, what I'm saying, the way they fight criminality in the north, because of the service chiefs that are always from that place, is different from the way they fight it in the south.
Well, you would know that even the major insurgency that we're having is from the north. We're talking about Katsina State, Zamfara, Borno. Those are even where we have a high rate of Boko Haram insurgencies, not even the southeast or even the southwest.
I know. Maybe you are not getting my point. I said there is different measure they fight criminality in this country. I just gave two pictures.
Okay.
Of how criminalities have been fought in this country, that when Obasanjo was there was a clash between militants and the army. A whole community was burned down. It was raised down. That's Odi in Bayelsa State.
Yeah,
then in Delta State, when there was a clash between the military and the militants in Baramutu, the whole community was burned down. The question I'm asking is that why has Sambisa forest not been burned down? If a community that was inhabited by human beings could be set ablaze because they were fighting criminality, why has Sambisa forest not been set ablaze? That is the question I'm saying. So there is a different measure of fighting criminality in this country. That is why some Nigerians are insinuating that it's like the security agency are complacent in fighting criminality in certain parts of this country. I also gave the example of illegal refineries. Haven't you read about illegal refineries that have been set ablaze? Have you ever heard about any illegal mining site that have been set ablaze?
Apart from complacency, what are some other issues again that you feel has also affected the performance of security?
In politics, it has become a big business. Because if you calculate the amount of money that have been budgeted for fighting criminality in the northern part of this country, it is mind-boggling. And each time, since I was born in this country, I've always heard that the criminals have more sophisticated weapons than security agency. How is that so? Security agency that are having large budget every year in and year out. Every time they say it is armed robber guns that are more sophisticated. Who is going to believe that? Is it that criminals know better place to buy arms than the security agency that is making the criminal to have more sophisticated weapons than the security agency in this country? So you find out that it has become a big business. Look at when they kidnap all those Kakara boys. Even though the government said that nothing was paid, in the depth of your heart, would you believe that nothing was paid? Okay, what motivated the kidnap in the first place if those kidnappers were not after money? These are the questions we must ask ourselves. So that they appointed their new service chiefs will not make any meaningful change, though it is a good thing because fresh blood will come in. But one would have expected that the chief of army staff should come from the south for once. Let us see the difference, because when Ihejirika was there and he was fighting criminality, was fighting the Boko Haram insurgents, I can remember vividly that some northern elites were saying that he was committing genocide when he was taking the war to their doorstep, to the doorstep of the insurgents. They said that Ihejirika was committing genocide. And we asked questions, how was he committing genocide? They did not explain to us. And at that time, the Boko Haram insurgents were chased out of this country to a certain level before Ihejirika was removed abruptly because of the pressure of the president to remove him. And immediately they remove him, the problem escalated. So we want a news change. And again, another point we should point out is this: what is the offense of Igbos in this country that they can never head any security agency in this country? Why? If you say because they fought a civil war, and you say that you don't want them to go, you fought them to a standstill and they surrender. Why is it that they are not qualified to head any security agency in this country? Is there true reconciliation in this country? I was thinking that when they wanted to appoint the current IGP, that he will come from that place. He didn't come from there. Now they have appointed another chief of army staff. Why did he not go to that part of the country? At least when you want a united country, it is not by amount. we say unity, the unity of this country is not negotiable.
Yes.
But everything that certain people are doing are things that will lead to disunity, because appointments are part of way of uniting a country. When you make appointment in a lopsided manner, that you are discriminating against some people in the country, that is not unity. Appointment should spread across all the geopolitical zones of this country. And if you say it is because of a competence, the question I'm asking is that, is competence limited to one part of this country? You can find competent hands from across every part of this country. So if you are basing it on competence, you are telling me that competence can only found before the local part of the country. That is not acceptable, because we have competent hands across every nook and cranny of this country. So appointment such of this nation is supposed to come from every part of this country. Because if you limit it to one part of the country, there can be complacency in some part of the country, and apart from the political affiliation of certain people and the business life that certain people are benefiting from, then issue of religion, issue of a tribe will play a major role. And that is why when they burnt down OD, the people that burnt down OD, they were from certain part of the country. They never had brothers and sisters there, so they didn't bother.
All right, welcome back to ATS Forum, exclusive to Guide to Television. We're still looking at the appointment of the new service chiefs, looking at the task ahead and the way forward in security architecture in Nigeria. And of course, joining us on the program is Adekule Yusuf. He is the associate editor of the Nation newspaper. Thank you very much for joining us on the show.
I'm glad to be here.
All right, looking at the appointments now, and Victor Aya mentioned lots of things that have affected the security apparatus. But earlier on, we brought about the list of these new service chiefs. How competent did you see their profile, or how competent do you think they are looking at what they did before?
All of them, there's none of them that is new to the security services in Nigeria.
Yes.
Then when you locate it within the ambit of Boko Haram insurgency, each of them has had to do, to be involved directly in the management of the crisis, and some of them have even held very strategic and important positions within the military organizations. So I believe they are competently do do a lot. They are eminently qualified, as far as I'm concerned, to deliver and do great things. But that's on the service level. If you go deeper, that's another thing, because they are going to inherit the same structure used by their predecessors. They are going to do a lot of things that they have little or no power over, and which will eventually determine the amount of success they eventually will record. So because the security architecture in Nigeria is still highly chaotic, we have not really professionalized warfare, especially this asymmetrical warfare we are battling with in the northwest. Northeast of Nigeria. Then all over the country now, you don't have a lot of pockets of problems like banditry, like kidnapping, like headers, farmer, problems like cultism, so many problems of insecurity all over Nigeria now. But I believe on individual, merit, each of them is
okay. What do you expect them to do now? You talked about the structure now. So should we start, because Victor Aya mentioned something like that, should we start with the structure now that we're imposing fresh heads now? Can we say after that now, let's look at the structure now?
Well, we need to rethink a lot of things about Nigeria. What do we really want to achieve? We need to rethink a lot. For example, this Boko Haram war, you are still fighting it. We are still fighting it the same way. I believe for the time foreseeable, we will continue this way. In this era, you benefit a lot from technology. What are we doing in the area of intelligence gathering? What are we doing in the area of interagency, synergy, collaboration? So beyond just the military, there are other paramilitary organizations that can assist in the war against Boko Haram. how much of them, are we making use of? All these things we need to come into play.
Okay.
And when you do intelligence gathering and you act on intelligence gathering, because that will go beyond certain levels. If we are able to rethink all of this, a lot of things will happen. I mean, I'm saying positively, because we need to win this war.
What would you say about the issue of complacency? Because now some of the rumors, as part of the things that people are saying is affecting security architecture, is that there's complacency or kind of like an involvement with some of the security agents with the insurgents. How can we handle that?
Well, that's a difficult thing, because even beyond the security, sector, our political elites, we need to rethink about what do we want from our country. You see that many elites, I'm talking from religious leadership to political leadership, to many of them don't still believe that some of these Boko Haram elements are pure criminals.
All right.
Many still believe that they are just deviants that can be, tamed, that can be reorientated, that can be. So until we believe that these are pure criminals, and we do go directly, at their jugulars. But unfortunately, we still have sympathizers within the big men and women, as we love to call them. So that's an issue. So if you find them within the military or within a security organization, it's unfortunate.
Okay, there are lots of things to be done. We're still talking about this appointment of the new service chiefs, and joining us now live via Zoom is Barrister Monday Ubane, is the former NBA chairman, Ikeja branch. Thank you very much for joining us on the show.
The studio.
Barrister Monday, can you hear me?
I'm hearing you.
Thank you for joining us on the show. All right, we're looking at this issue of the appointment, and a lot of issues were raised. While some people were happy with the fact that finally there's been appointment of the new service chiefs, people complained of the fact that there was no formal address to the National Assembly before the appointment, even though yesterday we saw statements from the presidency that President Muhammadu Buhari is seeking the appointment of this service chiefs even after the appointment. What do you see to that, especially as regards the state of the law?
Well, I know that before you can appoint those service chiefs, there need to be confirmation by the Senate. It's a constitutional issue. If you remember that there was a time Festus Keyamo, a senior advocate of Nigeria, who is currently a minister in this present government, took this matter to the Supreme Court, and it was held that the service chiefs cannot in any way be appointed without the confirmation of the legislative chamber, that is the Senate. And so I don't recall that process actually took place with regards to this recent appointment. I don't know what explanation they're giving to it now. I hear that there was consultation and all that, but I know the provision is issue of confirmation. There are certain persons you cannot appoint today in the Federal Republic of Nigeria to occupy any position without proper confirmation. And of course, remember the battle for Magu's appointment and confirmation, where he was asked to be acting for almost how many years because of the fact that they wanted to circumvent the confirmatory powers of the Senate. And so this government, I don't know whether they receive quality advice from the Attorney General, who ordinarily should have been the one to insist on the clear compliance of the constitutional provision with regards to the present appointment.
Okay, now aside from the constitutional defects now that we're facing, how do you see this appointment of the service chiefs?
I just saw it the way every other person is saying it. The guest in the house has actually narrated also that if you look at their resume, they are eminently qualified to occupy that position. But being eminently qualified is different from issue of competence. And then understanding the heavy burden that is placed on their shoulder to secure lives and property and rejig the apparatus of the security in order to make it more effective. We have had issues, and then one of the complaints we have had is that some of those people that they sent into the war front are not given adequate firearms with which to fight the battle. We also have heard of issue of lack of provision of welfare package that is actually, they deserve. Those who are fighting that war, they are complaining of being neglected. They're not being taken care of and all that. And so there is loss of patriotism on the part of those who are fighting the dissent. Of course, we have heard complaints also of even compromise by some of the military people that are fighting, the armed people that are fighting this particular war. So these are issues that the new people have to deal with. One, the issue of making sure that these people are properly equipped, making sure that they're being taken care of, and then try to do something that is quite different from what has been done previously, which has not actually given us an effective result. What is it that we need to do now? Somebody has mentioned the issue of intra-agency collaboration. I've also mentioned the issue of intelligence gathering, and then the issue of, having a mind to actually, root out these guys once and for all, and not the issue of coming to use propaganda in talking about a technical defeat and all that. The military ought to. It is either you have defeated these people or you have not defeated them. So all this propaganda that goes on with the fight is also not helping, the present government in this fight against the insurgency. So we must be sincere about this fight. And then whosoever is arrested in this, it must be properly prosecuted. And the example said, if you don't do that, then you are giving the other people who are doing it, that they are clothed with impunity. And we can never have an end to this insurgency if we don't do things that we're supposed to do. Your case in the House has said it. A situation where you have this particular notion, that you can reform these people, you can transform them from being what they are and all that. And these are pure criminals. And you are not treating them that way. Then you're not helping, the fight itself. You are making it look as if it's a childish play. Meanwhile, you are wasting billions and billions of dollars in the so-called fight, which is not yielding effective results.
Lastly, now, still on this issue of the appointment, lots of people, especially the group, the Ohanes in Digbo, complained about the fact that most times this appointment there's no one that comes from the East. Do you have an issue with that?
Practically, I have an issue with it. If we are running a country, Nigeria is a heterogeneous country, and we have this issue of unity, that we are not clearly united. It's a fragile nation. Now, any leader who occupies the apex leadership position in this country must be a bit sensitive and must be reflective and be sincere. I am not ignorant of the fact that the issue of military, you don't look at the tribe, you don't look at section and all that. Whoever, a situation where only one particular section in the country qualifies to head all the security agencies and apparatus, it's clearly something that it beats my imagination. It doesn't fit in with logic. I don't have that belief that it's only one particular ethnic group that have all the competent people that can run our military and auxiliary, military formation. There are many more competent people all over the country. A fragile nation like we are must be taken into consideration of all the tribes. There is no way a country will be presided over by leadership in which only one tribe, whenever they call for security meetings, only one tribe that sits to take a decision that has to do with the security of the entire nation. It doesn't happen anywhere in the world except in Nigeria. And people, even people who are educated, more because of their political leaning or because of the fact that all, hoping to probably occupy a position of authority in 2023, no longer say the truth and tell the government the truth that this is clearly wrong. We can't do that in a nation that is heterogeneous. You must be reflective. You must, even the federal character that is in the constitution is a constitutional provision. So there's no way only one tribe can occupy all the security apparatus in the country. And you feel that it's right, and somebody says, it's about competence and an issue of capacity and not issue of ethnicity and all that, then you begin to wonder where only one tribe can produce all the competent hands to run the security apparatus. We need to be a bit more decent, a bit more reflective. We need to be a bit more, patriotic. If we love this nation, there are things we need to do in order to make sure that people, are being carried along in running Nigeria.
Barrister, now looking at the national unity. Thank you for your opinion on the show.
It is my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right, now let's go back to the studio guests. Now we're still with the editor, associate editor, Nation newspaper, and of course Victor Aya, who is of course editor, Prime Health News magazine. Now looking at the past service chiefs now quickly, we know that a cross-section of Nigerians on Tuesday demanded the probe and trial of the former chief of defense staff, General Bayomi Olonisake, former chief of army staff, Lieutenant General Tuko Burete, and all the other service chiefs for alleged abuse of office. What do you say to that, Victor?
Well, I'm not in a position to, I've not been able to lay my hands on the reason given.
Yeah.
But there is...
Well, the cost of alleged abuse of office, of course, looking at the NSAS, and of course, issues of complacency from the leadership. Yes.
There are insinuations that certain people among the service chiefs, some of them, they built a hospital in Dubai, you know, and claim that it was their wife that, you know, that built those, bought 2 houses in this at the same time. At that time, when that issue came up, the dollar was around 450 naira to $1 at that time. And the people were asking, how did a woman that was not known for any industry, you know, raise such amount of money, $1.5 million to buy 2 houses at the same time? And another one was that one of them built, the same person built a hospital there. These are insinuations, as I said, yes, because they are not confirmed. So yeah, that's why I'm using that word, allegation and insinuation. So based on that, if those people who are raising those eyebrows that they should be subjected to interrogation, yeah, if they have their facts on ground, they can hype it to the fact that to the level whereby the international criminal justice system we go after them, because I find it difficult for somebody who was just appointed within a space of 3 months raising $1.5 million at the exchange rate of 450 naira to the dollar at that time to just buy 2 houses at the same time. So as I have said, if they have their facts on ground, I don't have the facts, they can continue to lay claim to that fact.